everyone, and welcome to a special Nerd Alert. We are going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens. This is the spoiler-free version. We will be making a spoiler-heavy, saturated version later, because by the nature of watching the movie and reviewing it, you're going to need to talk about some of the finer points. So we're just going to talk about our overview, our impressions of it, and when I say our, I mean myself and John Iadarola. Hey. John, you may know from ThinkTank and the Young Turks, and he's here sometimes too. And this is also BB-8, the star of the movie.
Spoiler! Spoiler! There aren't any humans.
All droids.
J.J. Abrams
no
made
subtitles. Weird.
Two bold moves. One, to have no humans, and two, to go musical.
Straight up Life Day.
It worked.
Special.
It worked.
It was weird.
Yeah, and they don't even speak English. 10
minutes of Wookiee chatter with no subtitles.
Exactly.
It was very weird.
No galactic basic. It's all just the binary language of moisture evaporators.
Well, I feel like I was, first of all, very happy with this overall. Mm-hmm. I think one major complaint everyone had was that it was a little derivative of episodes 4 and 5, and that it was basically that. But I'm going to say, yeah, it does sort of follow a pattern like that. But that doesn't make it less good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at George Lucas, he took a lot of cues from Errol Flynn, from Kurosawa. J.J. Abrams is taking his cues from George Lucas at his prime. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, we have that in the James Bond series too, and that doesn't make people love it less.
Yeah. So I would say, well, first of all, overall, I very much enjoyed it. I've seen it twice now. There was obviously a lot of hype, and there's a lot of expectation for more than a year now leading up to it. I mean, people have been waiting a long time since the movies. The last 3 movies weren't very good. And for those of us who like the universe, who read the books or the comics or play the tabletop games, the video games, we want a good movie, and so there's a lot riding on it. But I've felt fairly confident for the past year that it was going to be good.
I felt like it was in good hands.
Yeah, I mean,
that was the impression I got.
I've been criticizing the Star Trek movies as being way too Star Warsy this whole time, and so he'd been practicing for this. In terms of if it's derivative or too derivative, I mean, I feel like this movie had to accomplish like 50 different things simultaneously in the length of one normal movie. So people wanted it to be like cutesy but not kiddie. They wanted it to be more adult but still Star Wars and have that sense of wonder. They wanted throwbacks to the old movies but new stuff. They want to see some of the tropes and locations.
Of expectations, and it's almost impossible they be met. But
I think
honestly,
they did a very good job of it.
I feel like my expectations were met. I was so happy walking away from this. I thought the pacing was excellent. One major problem with the prequels is that the pacing is bad.
Yeah.
The music,
also the dialogue and the characters and the action and the storyline.
The humor was so nice in this. It was such a refreshing.
It was very funny.
It didn't take away. It wasn't ever hokey to me. Like there was never a point where I thought like, oh God, like I did with Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
But
well, it's a movie that respects its audience in a way that the prequels didn't, unless you're saying that it's respecting the kids, which maybe the originals do, because they're clearly made for a younger audience. I mean, this movie is targeted at, I think, an older overall average audience age than anything since the originals.
I think this was targeted at us. So what I mean by that is like a Star Wars fan who grew up watching the original trilogy, at home. On video cassette or DVD. And you grew up with this, but you've never seen a new, good Star Wars in theaters for the first time. That is such a unique experience. I hope no one gets that experience spoiled for them. Because it felt so good for this to finally happen. Maybe this is what, our parents felt when they watched the original trilogy in theaters in the 70s.
Yeah.
But I just walked away from this feeling like it was delightful. It hit the spot. It made me feel good. I had a fantastic time. I really liked all the new characters, which surprised me because I thought, there's going to be 1 or 2 that are just awful. But I was so happy with them. Daisy Ridley, this is her first movie. She did a great job.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm continually amazed at what actors are able to do, and the fact that this is her first movie and she's being thrust into one of it's like a pivotal role that people are going to be analyzing at a level that they don't analyze most characters. I thought she did a great job. But what I was thinking about going into this was we'd been in an event where J.J. Abrams was talking about when they were figuring out what they wanted to do with the movie, they came from the point of view of they want to focus on the feelings that it'll inspire. And he was right, and they did a good job because you feel the sense of wonder and exploration that Star Wars is supposed to have, a sense of there's an impending doom. There's the overriding theme of family and the connection between generations. And he also was able to throw in excitement with some of the action sequences, which we're not going to spoil, that goes well beyond the prequels, where it was so CGI-ish that it didn't feel... It felt like watching a cartoon. It didn't feel real, but these action scenes feel real. And as you pointed out, it is funny in a way consistently throughout the movie that I don't think any of the other movies have been. Some of the original movies had a couple of funny lines, but this movie consistently has funny lines.
And there's just one character who's funny. It's spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, everyone gets a little bit.
Everyone gets a little bit. And so I thought that they did a very good job in balancing people's desire to see the characters from the originals, that they had their time and everything, while also introducing interesting characters. And so the characters are good, but the actors are good too. Like, they did a very good job casting this. John Boyega and Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac. Like, he didn't have... Well, I'm not going to say anything.
We'll do it in the next one.
He was great. Adam Driver, Domhnall Gleeson. I mean, they did a great job of casting, like, this group of young...
It's such a tricky thing to do, because people, particularly nerds, aren't always happy with change. Introducing a new group or a new class, to use Saved by the Bell terms. But it was pulled off so well.
Yeah.
I am so endeared to this new cast. I want to see where they go and what they do and what's next for them.
I wish that it was like Lord of the Rings, that we can expect the next one in 2 months or something like that, but unfortunately not. Now, really fast, and again, I'm going to avoid all spoilers. There were some things that I didn't like about it, and it's hard to really describe them without spoiling anything. But there are a couple of cases where the logic of the movie, like they do some things that you would not do. There's some.
Listen, John.
There would be more of some things than there are. So it is a movie, and this is not hard sci-fi. This isn't Aurora or anything. This isn't a Kim Stanley Robinson novel. Like, it's supposed to be a fantasy adventure in space.
Yes.
So I get that. But there's a few cases where the movie is so well done and the story is so well crafted, and you don't have George Lucas who will just say, let's do this, and nobody can question him. Like, I have a feeling like this is much more of a collaboration where a bunch of smart people are
they had Lawrence
rethinking things.
Kasdan back.
Exactly. And so with all of that, there are a few cases, especially in the very end, like the last 15 or 20 minutes, where the movie doesn't make a ton of sense. And maybe they'll clear it up in the next 2 movies, but there are a few things that happen.
I have questions, for sure.
Yes.
But let's talk about that in our spoiler version.
Yes.
We're going to shoot that right now.
Yeah.
Audience, do not watch the spoiler-filled version until you've watched the movie.
Yeah.
This one's fine. Don't keep going. I won't hate you for it. But watch the movie and then come back to us and watch the spoiler version, and let us know what you think about that. If you comment here, try not to ruin it for people. It's such a beautiful experience, and it would suck to have it just shoveled to you instead of experienced the way it's meant to be experienced. I also might ban you. So
yeah,
please
you're
like
going to
and
spoil it
subscribe.
for 2 seconds, and then it's going to be banned, and then you're never going to be able to comment again. So have fun with that, and you won't even know that you've been banned. So.
Yeah. All right. See you then. Thanks so much.